We all have stories about strange things happening at work, but some things we don't talk about. Some things we can't. This is one of those stories. I worked security at a Freeport storage facility, an ultra-secure location where priceless collections were stored, often to avoid taxes or scrutiny. We handled everything from Renaissance paintings to ancient artifacts. The security was state-of-the-art, but a recent scandal involving stolen artwork forced the company to lay off most of its experienced staff and outsource security. That's how I ended up there, assigned to watch over things I barely understood. One evening, a new shipment arrived under highly unusual circumstances. A foundation, government-affiliated, or so they claimed, requested emergency storage for a high-priority item. They insisted on absolute discretion and demanded that all cameras inside their designated unit be disabled. That was unheard of, but they had the right connections, so management agreed. I never saw what was inside the container. None of US did, but the way they handled it, rushed, tense, almost afraid, left an impression. The unit they chose was directly across from the security control room, one of the most reinforced storage units on site. I remember thinking, whatever's in there, it's something powerful. As my shift neared its end, my replacement was running late. Annoyed, I left my post to check the locker room. The door was ajar. The lights inside flickered, casting strange shadows along the walls. A faint metallic scent hung in the air. Just as I stepped in, my coworker suddenly appeared behind me. He was pale, shaken, muttering something about the new coffee machine distracting him. Something felt wrong. His movements were stiff, unnatural. His eyes darted past me, toward the corridor leading to the storage units. Just pay extra attention to the security brief, I told him, watching his reaction. He chuckled awkwardly, but didn't reply. Instead, he turned on his heel and walked to the control room. As I sat alone in the dark locker room, my mind returned to the mysterious shipment. What was so important that cameras had to be disabled? Why had the handlers looked so anxious? My thoughts were interrupted by a noise, low, guttural, vibrating through the walls. Then the alarms blared. Security breach detected. Initiating lockdown. I jumped to my feet. Lockdowns were rare and only triggered by extreme threats. Every door sealed, and we were trapped until backup arrived. At least 45 minutes out, peering down the dimly lit corridor, I saw no movement. But that deep, reverberating noise returned, growing louder. It was coming from a storage unit. I hesitated. My training screamed at me to stay put, but my instincts told me my colleague might be in danger. As I reached the end of the corridor, my stomach twisted. The steel doors of the high-security storage unit had been breached. From the inside, thick metal, crumpled like paper. The reinforced locks, shattered. A dark liquid, like oil, seeped from within, pooling at my feet. The air smelled of decay, something ancient and rotting. Then I saw the security monitors. Inside the control room, my coworker sat frozen in his chair, staring at the screens. His mouth hung open in a silent scream. I stepped closer and followed his gaze. The monitors, despite the cameras supposedly being disabled, were flickering, showing glimpses of something moving inside the breached unit. It wasn't human. Its form twisted unnaturally, flickering in and out of sight, like a glitch in reality. For a fraction of a second, I saw its face. No eyes, just hollow, gaping voids that seemed to pull everything into them. Then, the monitors cut to static. A new sound echoed behind me, a wet, dragging noise. I turned in time to see something emerge from the darkness of the storage unit. It stood tall, its elongated limbs barely human, its head tilted unnaturally as it took a step forward, its fingers twitching in an erratic motion. The air around it shimmered, as if reality itself was rejecting its presence. I slammed my hand onto the emergency door controls, sealing myself in the control room. My coworker never moved. He was still staring at the monitors, his body unnaturally stiff. I called his name, but he didn't react. Then he turned his head, slowly, mechanically, toward me, and smiled. It wasn't his smile. His face stretched, lips cracking at the corners, revealing teeth that were too sharp, too numerous. His eyes, once terrified, were now empty, lifeless. Something inside him wasn't him anymore. A whisper filled the room, not from the speakers, not from the radios. It came from inside my own head. You let out. The lights flickered, and the glass in the control room windows cracked. My reflection distorted, shifting into something else, something watching me from inside the glass. I turned just in time to see my coworker rise from his chair, moving like a puppet with severed strings. The thing in the hallway wasn't alone anymore. The last thing I remember was hitting the override button, praying it would contain whatever was now inside the facility. Then, darkness. I woke up in a hospital bed. They told me I had been found unconscious when emergency services arrived. The facility had been abandoned. No sign of my coworker. No sign of the thing I saw. The official report claimed a gas leak caused mass hysteria, but I know what I saw. And I know one thing for certain. That thing is still out there, and it's looking for a way back in.